The Abyss. One of the most beautifully photographed movies of all time. And I am holding the freaking DVD because for some reason the Blu-ray just never happened. I waited years, assuming at some point there'd be a Blu-ray release of it. Finally, like 5 years ago, I just went, you know what, let's just get, I want to watch it. Let's just get the DVD. It's one of two movies I bought at the same time. The other being a James Cameron movie, True Lies. No Blu-ray release. It's so weird. With as much as James Cameron cares about sort of the advancement of technology and things like that, no Blu-ray or 4K release for The Abyss. But The Abyss is a sort of one of his. I wouldn't call it his a flop. It maybe didn't do as well in theaters when it came out. We're used to his movies being gigantic blockbusters. You know, Terminator, Terminator 2, Aliens, Titanic, Avatar. We're used to True Lies. We're used to them being like the biggest movies out. And The Abyss wasn't. The Abyss was probably at best a moderate success. He felt the need to. I don't think there is a version of the theatrical cut that you can see anymore. He's pretty much just made the special edition, the only edition that you can see. I don't know. I've never seen the theatrical cut that I know of. Maybe on TV. I can't really. Again, I would have been little, so I can't really remember. But the plot of the movie is complicated. It's because it's a James Cameron movie. It's about 3 hours long. You know, there's a nuclear sub gets trapped underwater. The government coerces a diving team to go down there in their rig. Marital drama and underwater alien creatures and Michael Biehn going crazy because of under some sort of underwater madness sickness, which I'm sure is probably a real thing, but it comes off as fake in the movie at least. The Abyss is, like I said, it's beautifully photographed, but I almost feel like the alien part of it it tacks on an hour that doesn't need to be there. This could have been a very tight 2-hour thriller. You know, something happens with the nuclear sub, not involving the aliens. Michael Biehn goes crazy. There's a storm overhead, etc., etc., etc. Really, if you cut out all the stuff with the aliens, for the most part, it doesn't even affect the rest of the movie in a lot of ways. This is a 3-hour movie that could have been 2 and could have just been very tight and very, like, I think, if not the gigantic hit. Well, you got to have the aliens in it, excuse me. You got to have the aliens in it to make it a blockbuster, because if it's just a thriller, then it's not going to make $800 billion. Didn't make $800 billion anyway, but I don't know. The cast is uniformly good. Ed Harris is a great lead for it. What is it? Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio is a good sort of foil for him romantically. And Michael Biehn, who is underrated. Where has Michael Biehn gone? Why is Michael Biehn not? First of all, why is Michael Biehn not an Expendable? How did Stallone miss that one? But where'd the guy go? He should have been a huge movie star, and it just never happened for him. And it's always been a mystery to me. The Abyss has really tense moments to it. The stuff without the aliens, to me, is really you know, when you're dealing with like scenes of there's a part where Ed Harris and Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio they're sort of separated from the rig. They're in this little submarine that's taking on water. There's only one diving suit, and the water, because how far down they are, is absolutely freezing cold. And the only choice that they have is for him to put on the suit, because he's a stronger swimmer, and try to swim her to the rig before she drowns. Or not before she drowns. She knows she's going to drown. But once they get there to the rig, to see if he can revive her. It's a great scene. It's a very, very tense scene. Everything leading up to it, because there's a lot leading up to it, where they're in this little submarine and they're trying to get it started and they're trying to figure things out, and the water's just rising. And you know, no, you're gonna wear the suit. No, you have to. It makes more sense. You're gonna, you know, you can swim better. Those things are great. It's fantastic to watch the two of them really struggle with life and death, and they love each other, and they both want the other one to survive, and you know, and how terrified she is of what's about to happen to her, and it's great. And then the fucking aliens get in the way. They come in, and then they're not aliens, because I think they are supposed to be sort of just these this deep water civilization that was never discovered. You know, the implication being that the bottoms of our oceans are just as mysterious as the stars above us. But again, it just doesn't need to be there. It almost feels like two movies mashed together. And that's always really bothered me about it. And it's what's kept me from really this being a movie that I've watched more often. It's 3 hours out of your life. Anybody who, you know, I have no problem with a movie being 3 hours, but a 3-hour movie, you have to set aside a chunk of your day. It's not just sort of like, let's throw on this 90-minute movie and then we'll go to dinner. You know, you got to really plan your day around a 3-hour movie. I've never watched the whole thing start to finish all in one go. Over the course of like 2-3 days, yes, but never in one go. Again, it's so beautiful. I would buy the Blu-ray in a second just to see it in that sort of even more crystal clear. Nobody films underwater like James Cameron. But again, as a movie, the alien stuff doesn't gel with the rest of it, in my opinion. I know for some people that's like the whole point. And the alien stuff, by the way, on its own, it has some beautiful moments to it. That just doesn't feel like it fits into this movie. And it could have been a grittier, shorter movie, tighter and tenser and with more teeth, if the alien stuff were another movie. My opinion. That's why I give The Abyss 2.5 out of 5 stars. It's, again, the 2.5, the acting is great, the direction and the photography is great, the effects are great, and there's just this subplot. Not even subplot. I mean, it's a competing main plot. I guess that to me that's the problem. It's a competing main plot, and when it comes in, it's already like an hour and a half into the damn movie, and you're like, well, wait, we were following this story, and it's like, yeah, there's aliens. Again, great movie. Watch it. I own it, obviously, because it is a great movie, but it's just, James Cameron needs to learn when to just make a tight little 90-minute movie sometimes. Not everything has to be 3 hours.